All right, we are live. Greetings, fellow traders. Let me get this tweeted out for everybody. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Good, good, good. I hope everybody had a great trading day today. Today we're going to be talking about day trading with Bollinger Bands, continuing our discussion. Today's topic is going to be walking the bands. So day one we went over the introduction, right? Yesterday we talked about seeing patterns like the M and W patterns in the Bollinger Bands, and today we're going to talk about walking the bands. So before we get started, just want to take a moment here just to say that everything we're going to talk about is for educational purposes only and not investment advice. So please take a moment to review this disclaimer. All right, so before we get started, let's take a look at the market and see where we are. So S&P futures are down slightly red, so we'll see if that holds throughout the night. I mean, we were down 10 over double digits yesterday. We ended up opening green. So, what the futures say in the middle of the night is really nothing to. I mean, it's best not even to look at it, honestly. Well, except for the technical side of it, it's kind of fun. Spinning top on the week so far. Why is it a spinning top, right? We had a big gap up, right, on Friday with the good job numbers. We had an inside day yesterday, pretty narrow range. We started with the 3-day unfilled gap reversal today. Right, started working our way into the gap, and then couldn't quite do it. Right, found some buying pressure and a little bit of a spinning top to finish the day today. So we'll see what that does. Again, kind of a choppy day today. Makes sense, right? Tomorrow is Wednesday. Tomorrow is Fed day. So at 2 o'clock, right, the Fed's going to come out with any interest rates adjustments, and at 2:30 is the press conference with the Fed Chairman Jerome Powell, and really it's his dialogue there, which could potentially affect the market. If he's looking, dovish or hawkish towards the future, it might affect the way the market might move. So we'll definitely be keeping an eye on that tomorrow. So big day tomorrow. In terms of where we're at, look, I've already got the Bollinger Bands up here. I'm not going to take them off just now, but it's got a couple of surprises here. Anyway, we're holding the pitchfork upper midpoint line, and let's take a look at the price action here today. This is on the 15 chart, right? So we had a 15 orb today. We, again, like I said, we were gapping down pretty heavy this morning, and then we had some positive trade talk type stuff. So we ended up opening relatively flat. We actually opened green on the futures, but about flat here on the SPX. Pushed up a little bit, and then flushed its way down and gave this big 15 orb today. And then finally, it was this inside 15 that broke to the upside and gave that nice move up there for a probably the best move of the day. And then bunch of chop here, given that it was pre-Fed day, and then a little bit of a move at the end of the day. So that was pretty much what we were looking at there today. And yeah, so let's take a look at the 5-minute chart. Just a quicker look at the price action from today. So today was the 10th. So these were the levels that our subscribers have before every market open on the SPX, and also with our other go-to list items and other stocks. But we provide this all the time. So here we go. We have we gapped up. We tested these levels right here. The next level down was here, and it flushed all the way to the S2 level right here, formed the 15 orb low, which formed a fresh level, right? Inside bar up here, and then worked its way all the way up there. So nice move right off of that. You can even draw a trend line from the prior day up here, right? Go to your lows, using our techniques right here. Here's your minor pivot right here, close above it, worked its way up. So all the way from 31.35 to 31.41. So a nice 6-point move off of that, even just using the trend line. So good stuff there. So today we're going to continue the conversation on day trading with Bollinger Bands, walking the bands. Okay, so let's take a look here and see what this is all about. Okay, this is a pretty cool little tool. Again, this is from the book by John Bollinger. So Bollinger on Bollinger Bands, so the guy who created them, right? So he's got the best insight into it. So basically, one of the techniques is that once you get above the 20-day moving average, right? So which is your the midpoint line of the Bollinger Bands, right? Once you get above that and you start getting to this area where you're at the top of the bands, you could continuously walk up here, right, until there's a change in trend. And so here you can see we got above the on the SPX here, early this year, right? We got above almost 12 months ago. Early this year we got above the 20-day moving average right here, right? We started walking our way up to get to the bands, right? So now, is this bearish, right? When you hit the upper Bollinger Band? No, not necessarily. It just means, there's a changing in trend, right? So it kind of hit up here and then it hit up here again, pulled back, but it's still holding the 20-day moving average, right? And continue to walk its way up the bands. That's what he's talking about right here, until it broke below the 20-day moving average right here, right? And then basically, that's where you take your profit, right? So you see an entry here above these levels right here, so 25.68, and then all the way up to like a stop right here at 27.51. So a nice 200-point move off of walking the bands. And then it came back up here, got back over, right? Started walking the bands up again, then kind of came back down again. tested your 20-day moving average, didn't close below it, and then came back and continued to walk up the bands again. Not until here, right, did we get it close below it. So as you can see again, we started working our way up from 27.95, right, and got all the way up to 29.44. Right, so another big move, right? So, almost 50 points or more. So, and then kind of worked its way back down. Then we started walking the bands down, right? We stayed under the 20-day movement. Then we got here, right, and worked our way back up. So pretty interesting stuff, pretty cool stuff. So one of the things I wanted to point out, so in addition to this, that's basically walking the bands, right? So this is the technique. If we see ourselves getting up, just kind of walking and just kind of walking up the bands right here, it's bullish, right? So it's not until you push above the Bollinger Bands do you start to really see, possible significant reversal points, right? Like right here, right? Things like that. So what I want to do is show one with some volume and stuff like that. So let's take a look at Apple. Roku is another good one too, actually. Let's take a look at Roku, because it did have a reversal recently. Apple's been pretty constructive. Oh, this did have a pretty big reversal back here. But one of the tools that Bollinger had recommended in the book was one of them is not available. It's called like the intensity intensity indicator, I believe he called it. Let me double check, and it was the intraday intensity. So I'm not sure exactly what that tool is that he's using, but another thing he talked about is using the AD, the accumulation distribution. And so this is a really cool one to look at. So, it basically does a calculation that, determines essentially whether or not there's accumulation going on, right? So you can kind of see these big moves here. You can see it a lot. It's really with volume, big volume coming in big areas and all that stuff, right? So, but it kind of shows you if there's accumulation or distribution going on, which is pretty neat. So, let me just make sure, just double check everything is coming through okay here. Sorry, guys. Yeah, so good. So what we can see, right, is each time we close above the upper Bollinger Band, right, it gets a little kind of sketchy. It's like when we do that, it's like, okay, are we going to reverse? Right? Well, in this case, we didn't, right? We kept going. Well, why is that? Well, one of the ideas is like once it does that, you need to check to see if there's accumulation going on, right? If there is, then we could start actually walking up the band. So you see right here, we gapped up on Roku, right? And you can see this big increase in this accumulation distribution point here and a lot of volume coming in. So we even talked about Roku with the Jesse Livermore method. So it's very, very similar to that, right? Then we another spike right here. Right, another big spike right here above the upper Bollinger Bands, right? And then we have this accumulation, right? So it's continuing to accumulate, right? So that was a nice move right there, right? And then it continued to, they kind of chop sideways for a little bit. Then boom, you have earnings right here. Another big accumulation day. Continue to work its way up, right? And so one thing that I found that was pretty interesting, right? That Roku is continuing to accumulate all the way up these Bollinger Bands, right? So right here is walking up the bands right here, just kind of stayed at the upper Bollinger Bands, right? And then, stop out here at the mid Bollinger Band, however you want to do it. Then it started walking up the Bollinger Bands again after this earnings one, right? And kept going and going and going. So it wasn't until this big close, this big push above the upper Bollinger Band here in September, right? And look what happened. There's something different about this, right, than what we saw here, 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 right, and here. Each one of these times the accumulation meter, right, was was relatively high, right? But then this time it got way up here, and then look what happened. It was kind of like was going down. Big red flag, right? So big red flag there. So it's a really cool tool to have, especially if you're tracking like reversals and stuff like that, in the market. So it's really, really interesting stuff, right? So, even here, like we had, a lower, right, accumulation value, and then look what happened. We ended up gapping down a few weeks later, right? So, very, very interesting stuff, right? And so you can even see at the lows too, like whether or not there's accumulation or not, right? So here, there's a pretty big accumulation time right here. We hit the lower Bollinger Band, that worked its way up again. We hit the lower Bollinger Band here, big accumulation, right? That kind of led up into it, right? Well, that was actually after the earnings right there, but you see what I'm saying, right? So really, really cool stuff. So you can see when you hit these highs at the upper Bollinger Band, if there's no accumulation going on, relative to other big spikes, then that's a good opportunity to see. Look for a reversal. So anyway, hope you guys found that helpful. At this point, if anybody has any questions or chart requests, please feel free to plug those in the chat window, and we'll get through as many as we can. We'll try to wrap up early. 10 o'clock is good, so we can all get some sleep, right? But if it takes till 10:30, it takes till 10:30. So anyway, good stuff. Appreciate it for everybody for tuning in tonight. So let's see. So I got one message on Twitter from Scavenger. So that will be CHWY. Chewy had a big day today. Big day, right? So anyway, It was a good stock today. So anyway, did good. Just couldn't quite. It was interesting. It kind of came back, right? Kind of faded back, after the close a little bit here. Just kind of had this huge move and then just right in the close, right? So. Couldn't quite close into the cloud. That would have been super bullish for it, right? Now, as bullish as it would have been, right, it still has this macro downward trend line. Where's that macro trend line coming from? It's coming from all the way from its, IPO high, right there. So that is something to look at right there. So yeah, so it had a big day today. Today was a fun day for Chewy, right? A lot of folks did pretty well with this one, right? We had a 15 orb up today, nice inside 15 right here, right at the 15 orb high, and that worked its way back up pretty well today. But in terms of swinging, a little bit trickier, especially with the upper shadow and closing below cloud resistance. So definitely something to keep an eye on there. Shirley sent a few in, so I've got AMLP. Alps ETF Trust, Alarian MLP ETF. So this one looks interesting name, great chart. A little bit of resistance ahead, but it does look like it could work its way up there. I love this. Even this close right here is really, really nice, and I like this close here as well. So it does look bullish until proven otherwise. So keep an eye on that one too. Looks really good. HYG. Okay, right into resistance. Just be careful with that one. So you're you're in this big, kind of congestion zone right now. So you're right into that resistance right there. It's got to break above those levels. JNK. What a blue. Spider Series shows Bloomberg's Barclays ETF. Okay, so yeah, got that right there. Here's your kind of recent trend line right there. Right, closing above this level, just barely, but I like the increased volume, so it could work. That one could work. And then EXPE, yeah, this is a good one. This was on a lot of folks' radar today. Nice move today. A little bit of an upper shadow, but I don't think that is disqualifying it from being a good trade. It closed above all these ones right here. Nice increased volume, nice close above those levels. Looks like it at least test the scene of the breakdown right there after the gap down day, and then might start to work its way up into the gap. I like the thin cloud above it too. Looks like it could be ready to roll. Let's see. In fact, that's going to go on the game plan. Very nice chart. Okay. Good one right there. And then knee source. Let's see. So, again, I don't know. I don't have a chart on this. But yeah, I like the close today. It closed above these levels, increased volume. I think it looks good. It looks bullish. Good. Nice one tonight. Cool. What's going on? How are you? Nudie Poo, what's up? K and XOP. Let's take a look. So K. Slowly been working its way up here. It's let's see. Working its way up there, holding trend, looking good. Bullish until proven otherwise, right? And then XOP. Yeah, really, really tricky with these oil and gas, right? Oil sector and all that stuff. You still have this big macro trend line from way up there, right? That's some resistance above right there. And you have a spinning top right here at the cloud top. If anything, that could be good for a reversal. It's got to get above these levels. I'd love to see a nice bullish close like in the cloud there to start getting going. Matthew, what's happening? Excel, sure. EXEL. Yeah, it's looking pretty good right there. So let's see. Here, there's your levels. Right, this was the first one. I love this close above these levels right here. It has pulled back to that, which is annoying, and now it's trying to work its way back up again. So, yeah, this could look pretty good right here. I like how it closed over, majority of this stuff. Let's see if it can continue and get itself out of this cloud. And DBX. Bearish, huh? It's just sliding down the trend line right here. So this thing needs to get bought out by somebody fast, right? Lots of consolidation right here, and a little bit of expansion after that to the downside, and then it's just kind of sliding down the trend line right here. So it is bearish. Needs to get below this trend line, to kind of fresh. It's actually a fresh low today, so fresh line. So we're actually below the trend line now. So yeah, pretty bearish. Pretty bearish. I like it. That's going on the game plan for tomorrow too. I like that. It's a good short. Definitely setting up nicely. Good ones. Paul, what's happening? Hey now. Alex, what's going on? GNE. Yeah, so kind of chopping around a little bit here below the 200-day moving average. So looking pretty interesting. Still working its way up, from its earnings. So yeah, it could be bullish. Let's see if we can get over that 200. That 200-day moving average is like almost serving as like a perfect ascending triangle line, right? So let's see if we can get above that and then keep going. What else? EW. Holding cloud. So there's something for it right there. See if we can get over, it's now below this trend line right here, but it's holding, some kind of support levels, things like that. So just see if it holds that. It's holding the cloud too. So it has that going for it. Work. Work has some work to do. It's got to get over these levels for sure, right? It is, on the bearish side though, it is coming out of the cloud with some increasing volume. So look at that as a potential move to the downside. Good old slacking off, right? Ulta. Okay, Ulta, I don't even know what this trend line is here right now. So, it must have, I'm not sure what was going on with that one. Anyway, this is the macro trend line here we need to mess with. So, right now it's kind of pulling back a little bit, working its way down into that gap below. So, BYND, last time I checked, was still chopping around at this crazy old support level and macro downward trend line. So, feel like any day now it could start to make a move. GDX. Yeah, kind of doing its little choppy thing right here. I like the northern doji today. It's got to get above that cloud to start getting interesting again. Has he? Yeah, inside day here. So let's see if we can break that to the upside and get out of the cloud on that one. And Starbucks. Starbucks had such a beautiful open today. It was gorgeous. I mean, it was like it pushed all the way up here, like at the open, and it was like, oh man, this thing's gonna close over all these levels. It's gonna get going. It's gonna be, and then flushed it back down today. Just awful how they do that. Take away all hope. I mean, it was just like, yes, it's gonna. I was hoping to just kind of stay above the 50 norm and just kind of chop around up here and have a nice, beautiful close. And it was just like, get down there, ah ha ha. So yeah, so that's basically what it's up to today. Not ready to buy the drip just yet, unfortunately. So now it gave us a new level to deal with. Good stuff. Delta Trader, good evening. Hope you're doing great. Cool on HCT and Suave. Okay, cool. That one's not coming up for some reason. Did I type that in right? HCT and Suave. Maybe it was a different one, but let's say SWAV. Okay, that one is definitely holding some trend right here, right? It got over the macro trend line right here, started to close above it, and slowly working its way up there. So a little bit frustrating with the speed of which it's doing it, but it is holding trend. So that's a good thing. Suresh, what's happening? Good evening. BMY. Wow, it's been so strong. So strong. Here's a good day, to attempt like a, breakout and then kind of chopped around for a couple days and then down a little bit and then see ya. Gotta love that. Still strong, just a little bit stretched right here. It's hard to jump in at this point, right? Starbucks we just looked at, so I'm not going to reiterate that just yet, but FCX. Nice close above these prior highs. This is another good one too. Not enough volume today to get me really super interested in it, but definitely been working its way up pretty well. SYX. Wow, big candle today. Filled the gap. Looks like it wants to test that 25 level. STM. Microelectronics, ADR, you can tell from the gaps. But it generally is holding trend right here. So yeah, so it looks pretty bullish here. Bullish still proven otherwise. Agilent Technologies. Nice high today, upper shadow today. Okay, in an uptrend. So watch it. That might try to fill that gap pretty soon. And then UCTT. Yeah, nice candle right here. It's got to get it. Definitely got to get above these guys. 1, 2, 3 levels of resistance. So I would say, try to get a bullish close over these levels right here. Next, right there. Next target up is this guy, and then this guy. Good stuff. Oh, it's okay. No, don't be sad. That's fine. I appreciate it. Ask me what's going on, Diz. Good old Diz. I'm a permabull on Diz now. I'm telling you. I've been watching The Mandalorian with my son, and it's been so much fun. So we just finished episode 3 this evening, so that was really cool. Yeah, so I love their work with the Disney Plus stuff right now. So anyway, but it is broke down below this trend box right here. So let's see if it can come up off of it, and then it's got some support levels right here. So let's see if it holds that, and then again, this would be like a potential fresh trend line right here. So let's see if we can get above that, and then work its way up, right, back to the highs. Paul, what's going on, DG? Dollar General, inside day, Doji. Dojiing around below that trend line. So, a little bit of support here. I don't know. Descending triangle, maybe? Let's see. Let's see what it's working on. Such a tough one to trade, though, man. It's got it's just so shadowy and short moving, right? It doesn't have big ADRs, but ATRs, but it's still really nice. Good. Domesty, what's going on? How? Yeah, strong move right there. The only concern I have is a 200-day moving average. I'd like to see it get above that. CGC. And that prior level right there, right? CGC rejected by the cloud today, unfortunately. So big day yesterday, and hero to zero. 180. Reversal over reversal. In fact, that's so bearish that could go on the short list for tomorrow. As an idea. Tesla. Yeah, Tesla is amazing today, guys. Today was Tesla. That was the move of the day. Almost a 10-point move today at one point. Here's the key, right? The reason that this was bigger than Roku's move, because Roku had a big move at the open too, was because this was a gap entry move as well, right? So if you go to the 15 orb here, right? Not only did it have, right, a 15 orb up, but it got strong over these levels once it could close above these levels because, right, it was starting to enter the gap now. So it has that kind of nice squeeze opportunity into that, because anybody who's defending here is defending the gap as well. And if you could push above that, right, you can get a nice move up, and it did. It got to our next level today. So really, really impressive stuff today on that. So it looks pretty constructive here. Good. And then PFE. What's up? PFE. Yeah. So actually looking like a cup and handle right here, almost a textbook cup and handle. You got, here's the start, right? Here's your cup, right? Here's your handle. Okay, so see if we can get above this level right here. That 39 is key for it to break over. Watch out, it doesn't intersect with that 200-day moving average, but it's looking pretty ready on this one. In fact, that deserves an alert if it ever gets there. And probably will. Nice Dow stock. So good stuff. Mark, what's going on? Roku? Roku looking good. Inside day up, except it failed to break out today, and it came back in the range. So a lot of times when that happens, it means it might want to test the other end of the range. So just watch it for a potential short tomorrow. Okay. Experience and thoughts. What's going on? Good evening. Merritt, what's happening? Good to see you. Experience and thoughts. Costco. COST. Oh, I wish it was ready. I mean, if anything, it's got earnings right Thursday, but I mean, yeah, it's got to close above this guy right here. Let's see what earnings have to say on this one. It gets so choppy. This is what Costco likes to do. It likes to move and then chop for a long time. Remember that. At least for now, until it changes. ABG. Nothing going on there. ADBE. Wow, Adobe started to get a little bit weak here today. So, red upper shadow but next to red upper shadow. So that's looking pretty bearish. CNC Music Factory. Holding some levels here. Let's see, holding some support there. So yeah, generally looking pretty bullish as long as it holds. Yes, an Ollie. Come on, Ollie, do it. Do it. Look at that. Double inside day with a doji close today. And let's see how it's looking at. Oh, yeah, looking good right there. Holding up pretty well. At 67, where does 67 put us? 67 puts us right about here, guys. That is great. That is a key level. If you can get above that, that's above the cloud and this key level, and we could see a gap and go on Ollie tomorrow. That would be awesome. So keep an eye on that. If it can't get above it, then you might see a reversal on it. Okay? Good. Levi, what's happening? Yeah, Etsy. Tweeter. Yeah, let's take a look at Etsy. How's old Etsy doing? Etsy. It is holding support, basically. Right, you can kind of see all these levels right here. It's just holding that. So, Etsy's kind of blah. Tweeter. Da. Gosh. It tried for like 2 days to go, and then it's just like blah. Get a new CEO, right? CVS. Wow, CVS with a little bit of a down move today. Looks very similar to this one right here. So let's see if we get some chopping. Again, lower shadow right here into like kind of this support area. So see if that holds for a little bit. And Yeti and Starbucks. Okay, inside day on Yeti right now with a kind of a southern doji, right? But in this big nasty trend box right now. So to see if well, it continues to work in there. S-Bucks, a request from earlier, but let's pull it back up in case anybody missed it. Again, here's the gosh, I had such a beautiful open this morning. It really looked like it was going to close above these levels. All it did is put in a new relative high that it needs to get above now. So not yet time to buy the drip on that one, unfortunately. Good. Thomas, what's happening? ATVI, good to see you. ATVI, big close today. Big close on ATVI. Increased volume. Nice candle. Right? Right at the upper end of this channel right here could get to, right? And the next level up is right there. That scene of that breakdown. Experience and thoughts. EMR and HCS. EMR. There's an old school one, isn't it? Let's see. Person there. Yeah, bullish still proven otherwise. HCA. HCA Healthcare, yeah. How about that? Let's see. Yep, also bullish to proven otherwise. Right now, they may pull back to the trend line, but it just kind of is what it is. Jimmy, what's going on? Yeah, let's take a look at JD. JD needs a new CEO, right? Upper shadow. So. And a recent gap below. One more day to try to fill that gap for the 3-day unfilled gap reversal technique. And MU. I'd say MU trades just like an ADR. This is so tough to trade. But look at this cool channel that we have going on here. So it does seem to be holding that channel right there. So see if it might try to work its way down. And then Shaq attack. Wow, Shaq just getting just demolished here. It was awful. I mean, it needs to get over these levels right here, and it's way below it. Gosh, they really went from 0 to 0 really quickly on those. Nice ones. Sean, what's going on? MPC? Marathon Petroleum? Oh, wow, this was great for so long, right? And then it finally got below these guys, and it's kind of drifted back down into the cloud here. Manoj, what's going on? FedEx. There's a good one that we haven't looked at in a while. Yeah, FedEx had that great move up, an epic move back down, another good pop up, then back down with a gap down, and then working its way up again. So, gosh, that came down with UPS too. Anyway, a bunch of upper shadows right here, so it's having trouble getting out of the cloud. Just keep that in mind. And DLTR? Whew, rough. Struggling. Really struggling right here. There. I really like that close. Again, not enough volume on that one to be too interesting, right? Tried to push above it a little bit, but that was it. Sean, an SNY? Yeah, nice move today. Big gap on whatever the news was, but closed. Gapped above these levels right here. Gave a little gap and go attempt. Now just see if it holds that as support. Nate, good evening. Tesla. I know. I figured that's what you were saying. I thought maybe you were speaking Dutch. Just kidding. Tesla. Yeah, I mean, just big move today. Nice close above this. This prior gap high, and see if it holds that as support. Emmanuel, what's going on? Do you see a possible short in BMY? Well, let's take a look. So here's your BMY right here, right? I wouldn't short up here yet, right? Because that's kind of trying to call a top, right? So at this point, right, it's bullish until proven otherwise, right? Here's a couple different trend lines right here, right? So you can see it is kind of working on a bump and run, so just wait until it breaks down that trend line there, right? So yeah, but it is kind of sort of, it is actually above this monthly trend line here. So you can see this. So here's your high there. There's your low, right? It's kind of there. So it's actually bullish. It's got over, it's monthly 50. It's over the cloud, right? It's starting to walk up the Bollinger Band, right? It's walking up the Bollinger Band on the weekly, right? I wouldn't try to short it here. I'd wait for some confirmation below the trend line on the daily. And Home Depot, that's a good one. It is doing a couple good moves, trying to recover and hold itself. It's kind of bouncing off the 200-day moving average area. Inside day today, see how it does until we really get. Here's your trend line from this recent highs. There's your low. There's your trend line, right? So it really needs to close above that high right there for it to get kind of interesting, right? Then it might make a run up to the cloud. I'll keep an eye on that there. Okay, good. Yeah, my pleasure, Nate. Yeah, exactly. We're just talking about somebody. They need to come up with a new Austin Powers movie, right? Give everybody some comic relief. But good stuff. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate everybody for tuning in tonight. Awesome chart requests. Great discussion on continuing on Bollinger Bands and walking up the bands. I think it's really cool. So next time you have your Bollinger Bands up and you see it walking up the Bollinger Bands, you can kind of be like, okay, cool. And if you wonder if it's closing above it, if it looks like it's time for reversal, see what kind of accumulation distribution chart has at that point, and see if it makes sense that if it's kind of relatively less, maybe you're looking at a reversal. So good stuff there, guys. I appreciate again everybody for tuning in. If you're new here, definitely subscribe on YouTube. We do this every market night, and you can always go back, right, and check the old videos and just kind of go over the topic or see what the chart requests were that night, stuff like that. And also be sure to check out the links in the description. So I hope everybody has a wonderful evening, and I will catch you guys tomorrow. Get a great night's sleep for a great trading day, and remember your risk first and stay safe so you can stay in the game. And I'll talk to you soon.